Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Running the Rift coverage, the GSL stage of the North American Challengers League qualifiers. And we are at elimination point here by this point through the first qualifier. Looking at Group A, CCG Esports taking on Cloud Gaming. But as fun as that is, nothing is more fun than getting to cast alongside my good friend Orbital. Orbital, how are we feeling after we're finally getting into a match here?
I'm feeling great. I was excited. I was ready to go in the early morning, and then bam, a couple technical difficulties, and now we're ready to go. So, as you said, I'm very excited. CCG versus Clown Gaming should be very entertaining, at least to me. I am also, I'll be very honest, I'm a little bit rusty on my knowledge of these guys, but I was watching some VODs, and it was a lot of fun. Again, high tier, at least in my opinion, high tier League of Legends is always a good time.
Certainly, right? And you've got a high-flying team, if we're going all the way back to the committee seating, versus a team that was ranked very, very highly. CCG Esports was number 5. Now they're in their elimination spot. And Clown Gaming were sitting at 26th, and they've now made it this far. Certainly fun. Draft day is going through a bit slowly. CCG going to be on that blue side. Before we get into any of these picks and bans, I do want to make sure, important update, we do not know, or I believe Flaucon is. It's Trevor that is switching to jungle Vakin. So we don't know where Vakin is. So Trevor switching to jungle, and the coach Argentum is going to be stepping in here for support in at least game number 1. And a Callista B1 was not on my bingo card today, Orbital.
Nope, it was not on mine either, but it works. It works. Hey, have at it. Red's just like, yo, I want to throw down. I want to have a bit of fun. The other part about it for CCG is the fact that if they win this one, they have a chance at a little bit of revenge against someone that they had a little bit of trouble to earlier on. So that's something to kind of play for. So the fact that they have subs right now kind of feels bad, but against the likes of a Kalista, you do like any type of CC, any type of slowing down, and I think Renata Glass is perfect. It also takes away from the Callista. Everyone knows the pairing of Callista and Renata Glass. It's annoying. You just don't want to hand it over. And then, of course, the hover of the Cassante. Yao Yao might be grabbing that one because it is one of the most highly prioritized top lanes right now.
Yeah, it is very high prio. Still, kind of an early-ish Cassante pick for me to blind up, especially if you're going to be on red side, where you would say, hey, about like 60% of red side drafts are usually leaving R5 counter 4 top. So interesting play here for Cloud Gaming, just assuming they want Yao Yao on a pick that he's comfortable with, that they believe would potentially get banned out later in the draft. The Zyra is just going to continue this chain of intriguing bottom lane picks. This one might be partially because Argentum is stepping into a role he wasn't expecting to play. So I'm assuming he's just leaning as much on comfort as possible.
I mean, you gotta do that, right? There is nothing else to be said about it, but I do like this Olaf pickup, right? This one I think is going to lend itself to Trevor, just like, yo, I kind of gotta do whatever I gotta do. And there's not much else I can say about it, right? At the same
Mhm.
time, Crimson has played Olaf exceptionally well. The only reason I say I want it in the jungle is because if Trevor does play it, I like the idea of just comfort and I don't have to worry about CC. I love the Draven. Let's go. Draven coming in here having a ball. Yes.
We're gonna have one hell of an aggro bottom lane. That is for certain. Draven Callista, it rarely gets more aggressive than that. So Paragon and Mr. E Red are certainly going to be slugging it in the bottom lane. Zyra as well with the extra poke damage. And now we've gotten basically the top side of the map figured out, and this is where we'll just start target banning. A lot of junglers still up on the board. You still said you wanted to get taken away, but you still have Xin Zhao up. Vi's the only real other jungler that's been taken away. And I'm curious what Trevor now, wants to try and pick here, as he is in a role that he is also not as familiar with the past month or so.
Yeah, I think you're kind of praying for the fact that that Clown will go ahead and blind pick the jungle at the same time you could target it. So it's like Clown have an option here, right? They can do whatever they want. They can kind of have a little bit of fun. They're already poking at the holes of possible other jungler pickups here, and obviously you just go for the top. As you said, the Xin Zhao is still available if you want to ban out. Lee Sin is still another one. Vi is already banned away, so it's like you can't do much. J4 is just easy execution as well, and honestly, I don't dislike that, right? Follow up behind, you can go ahead and try and lock down the likes of the Renata Glass and the Draven. Easiest way to do it. The mid lane focus or CCG, though, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Corki ban out as well if you just
Mhm.
want to run down the top of this year, as well as a possible Orianna, maybe comboed in with the likes of the Renata Glass, but it is going to be layered into that Xin Zhao, so don't dislike it still. I think they were like, hey, we're not exactly sure what we fully want to ban. Let's go ahead and do it.
Now, here's what's interesting is I was, I was with you, right? You got Corky. I thought Corky would be slammed by Clown Gaming, and I thought this turn was going to be Oriana Nocturne. But now I'm completely thrown off because
Mm.
they're not going to have to deal with Corky. It seems like for now, Lilia locked in to likely solidify the jungle here for Clown Gaming, and now you have a Maokai, and with the Corky up, yeah, why not just jump
Yeah.
right on top of arguably the most broken champion next to maybe Karma in the game on our current patch.
I would agree with that. As a mid lane connoisseur, I hate the fact that Corky's back. I'm just gonna say that right now. I hate Corky so much, and I also am a mage player, so I can't really say too much about it. Like I can't hate, but still, it is one of those champions that is very very strong right now. Not only that, the fact that Maokai got dropped all the way down to B4 is crazy to me. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
very surprised at the fact that we get a little bit of mess right now. Okay, I like it. We are having a little bit of a
Wow.
tango in the mid lane. We've seen some people kind of bring this out before. And I love the fact that you can flex it. Yeah, actually going to take it to the top side and the Cassante into the mid. I like the flexibility that's coming out. Clown Gaming saying, hey, you want to run something a lot safer in the mid lane? We'll just stack up and try and snowball over you later on.
Yeah, and try to be so somewhat of a bully in lane if they can get on top of the Corky. I mean, Cassante, the Cassante meme for a reason. How many dashes, unstoppables he has. It can help in a lot of ways getting on top of a Corky, but still going to be a tough lane for Titan nonetheless. And yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about this sort of kind of death ball 3-man rolling crew that Cloud Gaming is about to push out here later in the game. I mean, if you get to a point where I know itemized wise with Jax, Cassante, and Lilia. Not only are you going to struggle to get away from them, you might just struggle to kind of burn them down with how sneakily tanky two of those champions are. And one is just
Mhm.
stupidly tanky even when he goes all out.
Yeah, there's another point to say. It's just like clown are like we're gonna clown on you. That's what they're saying here.
Yeah.
It's if you don't play properly, you won't be able to shred through us because you look down the line, CCG. I'm actually a little bit worried. Where's your like major cut through? Right, you're looking at the not the Cassante. Wow, Kalista in the bot lane. That I mean, historically, yes, if you get enough spears in someone, you can shred them. But it's still a little bit wonky. Like if this team does not get ahead, if CCG do not get ahead, I do fear a little bit for the mid to late game. I'm a little bit scared of where's your power actually going to come from, right? Like I want to see them be able to fight, but I have a very big fear of tanks just being like, we don't care whatever damage you throw at us. Nothing will beat our tank items at like 4 stack or whatever.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I believe they've also drafted pretty well to deal with Crimson. You pick
Mm.
the Olaf earlier on, obviously in lane. Yeah, we'll have a bit of a better time on Jax. Kind of Counter Strike always will help you out against auto attack based champions, and that is what Olaf is certainly looking to do, especially when he pops Ragnarok and gets going with that. But just in general, Lilia's a fantastic spacing champion. We'll be able to at
Yes.
least do a lot of sneaky damage while this Olaf is trying to run at people, and then obviously if you can time the sleep, you've got that going for you as well. And then Cassante is historically very difficult to shred through and deal with, even if you've got an Olaf running at him. So I like this from Clown. They're clowning around like you mentioned, but they're also recognizing that, hey, Crimson's the biggest threat on this team.
Yep.
He's the headliner on the roster for a reason. We've got to draft against him.
And I think that's appropriate. And that's one of the fun things that come into a lot of these matches, especially with Fearless, right? Another reason that I think we had some of these wonky picks is the Fearless draft does breed a little bit of questionable pickups sometimes in either like game 1 or 3, I would say. Game 2 is usually, okay, we can do whatever. But game 1's, it's the fact that we're not getting a single deck for 2 teams. Instead, it's 2 separate decks, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we don't have that does mean that players have to kind of decide exactly when they want to lay down certain champions, right? And at this point, you got maybe some that you enjoyed, which is, the Olaf and the Callista. You go ahead, run those, try and get comfort in the first, and then second or third, maybe you drop down to a little bit more meta, but maybe not as practiced with your current roster, right? So a lot of fun thoughts there, but of course, I digress. I'm gold here, so I'm enjoying this, but the early check by the bot lane by CCG, I do appreciate. Try and get a jump on them as best you can. Obviously, nothing came from it, but showing that level of we want to have some fun here.
Yeah, and Callista certainly can be a sneaky damage dealer early. He certainly is always going to be a level 1 threat with the fact that she has innate dashing and to set up her E. So, I'm also just a big fan. This is becoming more and more of a thing. Is bottom lanes, really prio in their lanes early on, not necessarily leashing as long as they have to, and you're starting to see that from CCG as the Plant Fest will already begin. But this is the problem. Flash forward already. Yeah. We're already going toe-to-toe. Ignite down, flash off both supports. This is exactly what we expected, Orbital.
It is, but why? You know the dream is strong. Why would you do that? Then again, you didn't really lose like a massive amount of stun cells, so maybe you can re-engage. But like, God, that hurt to watch. Nostalgia also losing flash ignite, but it's strong, right? Clown's bot lane, if allowed, if like a single misstep happens, you take over, and that's their way of nullifying the likes of Red on this Kalista. This B2, I believe, pickup here. So it's. No, B1. I literally watch a draft. I'm an idiot. It's the fact that if you keep Kalista down, that's a main chunk of CCG's gameplay and already gone down the drain.
Yeah, and I guess all it took to get Prio back in lane was your supports and summoners. So we'll see how much it will cost them, though, is Trevor, freshly swapped jungle, is looking for a gank path here. Paragon has everything available in his kit, but Nostalgia, like we talked about, does not, and it's just a free first blood for that Kalista.
You know what? You'll take it. You knew that the enemy bot lane was pushing up, and hey, maybe I'm not going to be able to clear as fast, but the level 3 hit just so nicely, and I get a free gank. Didn't even have to burn flash. By the way, Trevor did not have to expend anything down there, so that helps out a lot. Now Paragon has to be a little bit worried, and with a couple spears going in, you are wondering if this could be an extra chunk of damage, but Red's just like, I'm sitting on my 1. I'm sitting on my 1 with the CS lead. I shouldn't push it too far.
Yep, I'm just trying to get the lane in a spot where he can get a reset off without costing him too much, and you can see now they're trying as hard as they can to shove this wave in. Do have to be a bit careful with Nostalgia back at full HP, but with that mishook, it shouldn't be much of a problem here. Across the rift, though, we do see that Trevor is starting to get towards that clear, and Damon's, who already did get through his clear, is now going to look for that re-gank bottom side. Good dodge on the bowling ball, but Argentum just gets flashed on and popped. The bailout is going to save Paragon and even out the kill count in game 1.
I just want to point out that's one of those moments that the tick just feels good, right? Because if that came out any other time, Paragon would have traded out. That's one of the big things. The fact that Chunk came out from Red just before Argentum went down, that feels bad. You didn't get a trade. Still, though, it is a kill handed over to Paragon, who, with the Adoration stacks, now matches the likes of Red. That kill lead early on means almost nothing. I mean, Paragon's going to have a great time on the top side, though. Yao. I mean, the way state, of course, this is what happens against an Olaf. I think you're already kind of expecting this. It's just how much CS are you actually going to pick up? And Crimson's like, yo, I'm having a good time. I got my Olaf. Let me just chill out up here. Please, let me chill out.
Yeah, with Trevor just hovering over in the topside river, there's really no threat unless Crimson dives turret. So he's able to just keep that push up, and it's partly why CCG have a slight gold lead. You also got that Corki Cassante matchup that Falcon is making sure to at least get some CS up. I gotta give credit over to Titan. I mean, it's definitely always hard to hold an even CS count in range versus melee, and he's doing a pretty good job so far.
It's understood that you're not gonna have a great time, but I mean, you're also getting a little bit of a cheater recall off. You know you're gonna be down in the waves, but keeping that summoner spell up, that in itself, I think, is a big win. Now, yes, of course, Floken is doing okay in their own right. Still has flash and TP, so this upcoming Grubs and the other dragon on the other side, it's like, hey, do whatever, but top side.
Oh, look.
Top side. Okay, I was watching a little bit. I was watching the global objectives, and then the top laners decided, hey, we want to have some fun. Apparently they died. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Olaf slugfests, I'm assuming that's exactly what happened. And I like the timing, at least from Yao, because going for that play at least guaranteed Damon's and company all those Void Grubs. They do get traded back for Dragon. That's the trade we see in Season 14. His bottom lane's back to bottom lane things. Flash forward from Paragon. Can he get one more big axe? No! He's turned on. Argentum gets his revenge. And Nostalgia has nothing he can say about it.
Yep, the drop of the axes, only swinging with basic autos feels kind of bad there, so well played. This is why you run that Zyra, gets a couple slows, gets a nice little out, and a Red with those upgraded boots able to stave off into the bushes fast enough. Very, very well done. So for CCG, they're already kind of dealing with this monstrosity of a Draven in the bot side. Flogun in the mid lane did get tagged out by a Damon, but at the current moment, you're still safe. You're okay. You're farming up. You went with the Cole after the Doran's Blade. So the entirety of Flogun is literally just play for that mid to late. You don't even care if you're getting chunked out. You don't care that Titan's getting a little bit stronger. As long as you keep it fine and you keep CSing, you're going to be a happy camper.
Trevor might not be happy camper, as Loads of Globo is going to come out. He has to flash away, but do they have enough damage to burn down the Maokai? Couple more axes thrown, and Paragon is back on the board. Consistently, when you think he goes down, he finds these key kills.
And this is where Cloud are going to start pressing their advantage. With that second kill, now Paragon's right back in the lead, right? Like, Paragon's like, all right, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this a lot. And for CCG, I do want to see them be a little bit more understanding, and hopefully we get to see a little bit of the teamwork kind of come in a little bit more of the fact that, hey, Trevor's not going to have a good time. At this point, Trevor is going to get matched at every single spot because it's a Maokai, right? Yes, he got good ganks, but against a Lilia who is a little bit more farmed up, a little bit more fed, you're not going to have a great time. So the team has to start understanding, hey, Trevor's not going to be a good spot. Maybe we got to play around it. Of course, Flogun, I think, is the one that I'm looking at to start roaming out and helping from that mid lane.
Right. Still haven't seen a package come out just yet for Flogun on his Corki, so you can certainly lean on that here. And you still always have this prio from Crimson in the top side, and we got Void Grubs coming up somewhat soon. And I'm of the opinion that Void Grubs aren't as overpowered as people Orbital first put him out to be when we kicked off the season, but my line is, if you're giving a team 5 or 6, that's when problems arise. Yao Yao is going to have problems arising in the top side here as a good stun chain comes across, and the counter-strike will not save him. Trevor, great dive attempt. His bot side, holy moly, we're slugging out. And the Kalista ult barely buying out EU Red a bit of time. Good route from Argenta, grabs both, and will save him. Top side, action still rolls. Actually, no, Trevor, he's going to be okay. We're finally done. We're done.
You know, the teams say they're done for right now. I still don't believe them, but this is getting a bit excessive. The only reason Red didn't go down there is because they had early advantage in the levels. Level 6 versus level 5, no whirling axes to come out, or not whirling axes, execution
whirling
to
death.
Come out. Yeah, there we go. Hey, don't worry. I know the name somewhat. I get like half a syllable and then that's it. Paragon, though, I love it, right? This is what you want to see out of a Draven. Every time an opponent steps up, you're more than willing to trade, whether or not you're going to win, or whether or not you know you're going to win. You're willing to fight, so I appreciate it right now. Bot side, though, Red and Argentum are doing very well at disengaging, so I expect to see that over and over again. What I'm also watching for is Clown now opting to rotate up towards his top side, get the wards down, keep track of where Trevor's going to go, with the gold kind of swinging but into favor of CCG. You do have to innovate. You do have to start kind of building up something other than a gold lead.
Well, it could be the Grumbians, right? And those guys all just spawn back in the second phase. Blue buff can get stolen away. He's got the prio, and I think he might have just spotted Trevor out on his Krug. So CCG are going to willingly give up all 6 Void Grubs, and that, for me, Orbital, is where problems can start to arise, especially, like you mentioned, if you're not holding to a huge gold lead where neutral objectives can easily even that back out.
Yeah, 6 grubs is like what? Well, not 6 grubs. 1K, you're looking at about 1.3. What is that, like 3 or 4 plates? That's across the entire team. It's not bad. Like, you could probably pick that up if you get 1 or 2 good trades, and honestly, Damon is looking for it. Of course, with that take on the top side, CCG are saying, hey, we want to power for this dragon. We want to get enough gold in there. We do have the package now as well, so this dragon fight should go their way, putting them on 2. If they're going ahead and collecting and in the right mind, being able to trade out these objectives, this dragon feels great, and really you're just looking at that soul to be like, okay, what's next on that list?
Exactly, right? And that's where I still believe dragons are the bigger player here. Yeah, he's going to get hit by a couple axes, takes the third one, has to flash. Crimson, and all those flashes back. See you later, Yao Yao.
Don't disrespect the Olaf, man. You counterpicked. You counterpicked in every. By the way, remember, we were talking about some of these lane matchups that were blind picked by CCG. CCG are like, bro, I don't know why you tried to step to me. The Olaf pick of B2, the one that I originally thought was B1. Nah, that's how you do it. Now the package on the bot side as well.
Ooh, Corki, a lot of damage down. Beautiful Stranglethorns as well by Argentum, and both kills fly in the hands of EU Red. Let's go, CCG.
Oh my gosh. And this is what we were talking about, right? CCG know that if this goes to mid to late in a bad fashion, you don't enjoy it. So stacking up these kills, getting these early blows, and understanding you have strength with that package, it was so well played, and burning some of those early summoner spells out of Paragon early on. Just so well timed. Really enjoying what CCG are putting down. Now let's see if they can continue with the Hextech gates down and available. It's going to be a big question mark if they can maintain, especially against some of the pressure that if CCG let off for a second, Clown may be able to kind of storm their way back in terms of the towers and turrets.
Yeah, like we talked about, in a more fight-centric state, Clown's comp is better equipped to deal with a Fed Olaf, which is now the reality in a lot of senses for Crimson. So it's not like they don't have the tools to deal with those guys. My problem just continues to be this guy, Paragon. He's getting pushed out of the game by this point now, and it's just the exact opposite of what you need from a Draven.
Yeah, I was so excited, right? The 2 early kills. I mean, I'm thinking my solo queue games, man. Hey, Draven gets 1 kill, you're done. It's over. You know, even if you had 3, doesn't matter. Nah, CCG are like, this is how we're going to deal with it. Of course, Damon's comes in and says, nah.
Yeah, Argentum's just dead, and they're going to gift that kill. Oh, not to Paragon. Damon's is going to take it, so I don't think there were many adoration stacks. I don't hate it. Regardless, great pick by Clown Gaming.
Yeah, I'm really behind on the timing because I did not see Damon back there. I did not see him rotating through the enemy jungle, and Damon has been very powerful. Oh, no, not again on the top side. Not again, please.
All right, yeah, he's trying to get out. He's trying to buy his ticket off this train. He wants off the ride. He's trying to get away from Crimson, and good dodge on the counter-strike from Trevor. Out of position, and jungle looks way too comfortable. Solos out Yao Yao.
Where was... Oh, no.
Oh my God. And now EU Red's just free firing. The bailout doesn't save him, and Red is on a rampage. Now this game is falling out of control.
Yeah, so this is the other side of having like all melees and kind of tankiness. You don't have that much extra behind it, if that makes sense, right? Like Damon's is doing good. Damon's is trying their best, but the tower's still going to go down, and Crimson honestly could probably take this.
Yep, doesn't have Ragnarok up just yet, and he's able to take the turret. It's silly damage. Flash forward from Davis. He wants the shutdown. Crimson, he's getting the healing. He's getting the shielding. And the reinforcements are coming. Titan shows up, but turns around to find 2 more behind him. Still has the all-out if he wants it. Falcon has to flash away. Crimson is dead. Damon finds him on the back of the fight. Teleports galore, but a big shutdown for Clown Gaming.
But how many resources do you have to... Like, the fact that Crimson lived that long is criminal in itself, right? Because what was that? That was 2 tower shots, I think, earlier on just to get the tower. And then you get slept. You don't have Ragnarok. You have literally nothing in the tank. And you still almost take out Damon with no trouble. It is a very scary notion when CCG are at that point. Of course, with this Herald, they may be able to break open some of those towers that they have not been able to. And not only that, set up for some engages of their own. They now have people rotating out. Bot lane is broken. Yes, you won't have the Draven for a little bit, but Nostalgia is now allowed to roam out with that hostile takeover. Might be able to turn some of these sites.
Yeah, I mean, that I think is one of the most game-breaking ultimates in the game. Just not only stalling multiple members of a team, but forcing them to hurt themselves. So it's a very, very key ultimate. As like you mentioned, though, the bot side did get completely blown up by the CCG bottom lane. We see a Frozen Heart is the first buy out here for Trevor, just really trying to mitigate as much of the AD damage dealers in this game. Yao Yao and Paragon are not really going to be able to burn through the tree in this game.
Nope. That tree has turned to metal, and that your axes aren't going to cut through at all. It's a harsh reality right now. I do like it, though. For Trevor, it's not the standard, but it is optimal in this situation. You know who your primary damage dealers are. You also know who you're sticking to most of the time. So I think you're going to be really happy. This difference, though, in the mid lane, EU Red is just like, bro, I don't know why you're trying to set to me. And Damon is like, you shouldn't have set to me either. I got sleep. I still have Leandri's in the back pocket, so I'm doing okay here. So Damon's trying to help out his bottom lane.
Yeah, damage is going to have to be really the main damage right now, at least, on Lilia. So we're going to have to watch for that going forward. I also do like the kind of full tank build from Trevor here, because you have Corki do some AP damage, and then obviously Argentum Zyra will always do a sneaky amount of AP damage. Actually finished the Leandri's himself, so you don't need to get that sneaky amount of AP damage with your Maokai. You see sometimes this can just be a fully unbreakable tree.
I think Trevor is going to be one of those sacrificial pieces, realizing that, hey, things are not exactly in my way. You only got one stack, by the way, so you really want to clear one more camp before this upcoming break, because this could put you on Soul. You don't really want to lose it. Of course, this mid lane kind of ARAM style situation is occurring. I think that was not Sleep, but Yao Yao coming in. This is going to be that 5 fight, and Flocon with that package says it's more like a 6v5.
Yeah, and the Missile Barrage is just really staving off anything. Good drop of Shelly, so there'll be pressure in the mid lane onto CCG, but like you mentioned, they're just focused on getting to Soul Point. Lil Team Lullaby gonna come out, gets 2 of the damage dealers, but Hextech wakes them back up. Stranglethorns keeps all of Clown Gaming off, and here comes the turn. Package down, they're trying to target Yao Yao to burn him down, get his kill picked up. Crimson does fall on the background as well, and Titan is now left to the wings. Huge all-out though, hold Crimson back towards the turret. What an outplay.
I mean, in that situation, I think that's, you know, the best that could have happened. You know, CCG took Dragon. They said, hey, maybe we can take a fight with you. And they lose 2. Like, that's almost a misnomer. You're on Soul Point. And Clown got what they could. They got 2 kills, and now they're going to try and re-engage.
Oh yeah, Titan, he teleported back in here, trying to get a pitch onto Argenta. Fate's Call comes out though. They throw EU Red back into the whole team, but Kalista is just free firing Trevor. A beautiful front line, and Red is unkillable.
Oh, and the flash sword.
See it, Titan. Yep.
Just to finish it off. The fact that EU Red was in melee distance, by the way, I thought that was Zyra. I honestly thought that was Zyra. Like, yeah, okay, so it's a support, right? And then I saw the call come in. I was like, EU Red is unstoppable right now. 4-0-5, and again, it's kind of crazy to think about, to me at least. Whenever you see blind picks, these are blind picks that should be countered, right, by the opponent. It should be able, like, hey, we get the right pickups, we get these right champions, and we can take you over. Yes, the game doesn't always work, but I've never seen blind picks work out to this fashion, right? 4-0-5 so quickly, 18.5 minutes. CCG knew what they were getting themselves into and applied appropriate pressure. Trevor being tossed into this jungle role, by the way. Huge props right there. Being dropped in midway, didn't expect it, and is playing this Maokai maybe a little bit more safe, a little bit more team-oriented, but 4-1-2, you couldn't ask for a better filler.
Oh, you're telling me a sub-in jungler is playing team-oriented? No way. There's no way he plays it. Right. He certainly is not a support main by any chance. No, that wouldn't give it away.
Too real. You know what? I'm used to some of the other junglers I play. They just like to play for themselves. You know, that's okay though. At the current moment though, CCG, they really do feel like they have things in their hand. They want to start kind of pushing the limits of what their comp can do, though. 13-7, you want to start bringing down this mid, maybe an extra inner tower if you can, and really put Clown on the back foot. Right now, Clown are kind of trying to soak up the pressure, get some more farm inside of Titan and Yao Yao. You can't really let that happen without making them pay for something. So CCG looking to try and apply a little extra pressure.
Yeah, especially across those lanes with Baron coming up and they're in the lead, and honestly, more importantly for them, if they stall out enough, they can. I would be fine as CCG flipping Hextech for Baron if you really had to do it, and causing that sort of pandemonium for Clown Gaming as we do see Baron making their way over. What Baron are we going to get on the Rift? Which special one? Oh, my favorite one, the tunnel ones. Okay.
Yes. The tunnel brings so much innovation to the Baron pit, by the way. I love 100%. This. This is something that I've always loved as a League player. It's just like, obviously the game has been out for 14, you know, maybe 15 if you played in beta. It's been out for a while. Having Baron for the first time have some innovation to it is so thrilling to me, and it also helps in the current scenario, right? The funneling is what's going to cause some problems for both sides of the team, right? And the fact that there are other opportunities instead of just face on now means both teams have the availability to kind of throw their wits ends around, right? If you want to throw, what is it, a seedling from Damon straight up that alleyway and maybe hit someone, unsurprisingly, or anything like that, there's just so many little pieces to be thought of. Right now, though, Argentum and EU Red are just like, what can we find? What can we do? Argentum, by the way, 2-2-6. Huge props there as well. Coach to player now, having a good time.
Yeah, I do know, thanks to our amazing producer extraordinaire, multitasking, magnificent person, Adam, there has been some support play for Argentum in his past with MSU. Top 8 finish in CLOL a couple years ago, so not like he's completely a fish out of water right now with this play.
Yeah. Yeah, he's comfortable. He's good, but at the same time though, it's one thing to have done it in the past. It's another to be like, I just want to. Oh, I gotta fire. Oh, maybe I didn't update
Right,
before.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
dang, this is a problem. It's and that I think is the wonders here of the qualifiers. You get to see kind of these situations occur that bring out the best in some of the players. So really, really liking it. Right now though, CCG breaking open one of the freestanding towers, just allowing all the outers to fall down. And with Dragon coming up now in about 10 seconds, all the wards do lend their favor to neither team. Both teams are a little bit, I would say a tiny bit dark on either side.
Yeah, and there is a window here for Cloud Gaming. Flaucon is waiting for Package back at base to come online, but the Drake comes online first. Finally grabs it, going to teleport right in here. And now CCG, they're likely going to look to pitch and fight.
Oh, the sleep,
Drowsy is going to come out. They get a sleep onto EU Red, trying to jump down and burn him down. Titan's going forward, going all out, but he's pinched and killed off first. There's the package out for Flaucon, immediately stunned up and blown up by Yao Yao. Great counter strike comes across, but EU Red is still hunting, and he burns down Paragon once more, goes unstoppable. Cloud Gaming, they stopped the stack, but it costs them triple.
And it hurts so much because add insult to injury, Paragon face-planted, may have been able to get away and at least extend a little bit of the timer, but face-planted, lost their life, and now it's a free Baron. CCG are like, yeah, we're chill. Damon doesn't have flash. There's no real way. Even with the quarters, you don't have access if you're this Lilia.
Well, certainly the pings indicate, well, they're going to try. Yao Yao and Davids are coming down here, and there's still no vision. And Argentum can do so much with the plants. Yago's just hopping right in, nearly kills off Red. There goes Argentum. Davids is in the pit, steals away the Baron in the face of Trevor. And now it's all Cloud Gaming. No one's laughing anymore on the CCG side. Baron picked up, and 3 more kills as a consolation prize.
200, Trevor. It feels bad, and that's what happens in some of those smite fights. It was 200 left, and Damon gets a freebie. Clown Gaming may have just gotten one of the biggest opportunities that they ever have, and they are using it to peak efficiency.
And look at this, the 6 Void Mites, like we talked about, how much does it help them? Now with those Baron minions, they just run 2 turrets down in the face of CCG. And like you mentioned, all of a sudden, the gold lead at 24 minutes, completely minuscule. I mean, this is 1.5, which it just doesn't matter as much as the fact that Yao Yao is now much more online with that bounty, and Damon's still near perfect, cannot be denied.
There's something to be said, though. You only lost 2, and comparatively, that's 3. That matches the towers, right? But look at this gold difference in the ADC role specifically. I want to point that out.
God.
EU Red has done an amazing job, right? 3K difference. And here's the thing, a Kalista late game is very difficult to pin down. And looking around the side, you're looking at Yao Yao with that counter strike. You're looking at Nostalgia with the hostile takeover and also the tether, right? And the sleep off of Damon, if you can escape from these, I do expect EU Red to have like a walloping time, right? This is going to be a very, very scary Kalista. But that is all it really is. With the gold, you look everywhere else, no one else has a lead that they used to. CCG have lost almost all the other lane kind of dominance that they had before, and Crimson on this top side, 3, 4, and 2, still waiting for a chance to really be able to pop off. You're going a lot more aggressive, it's understandable, but at this point, Yao Yao has done a great job coming back. 4, 5, and 3 is now a split push monster in their own right.
Yeah, and this is the problem. This is why you pick Jax. If you could survive earlier against Olaf, you favor a Jax in a lot of those matchups. Sure, you don't get the stun with Counter-Strike anymore, but everyone's afraid of Jax because of how quickly he can reinforce those autos. In my opinion, could outtrade Crimson's Olaf pretty easily at this point in the game. And like you mentioned, how much of a threat does that take away from CCG's comp as a whole?
I think a lot. Not just that, you know, for Clown are like, yeah, we're going to sleep at least 2. Right? Like, at least 2 members are not going to be able to move. They're going to be prime pickings. Damon honestly has been so good at 3, 0, and 6. It has 3 items, by the way. I think the first one to hit 3 full completed outside of EU Red. I don't care about EU Red. EU Red is in their own world. They're having a blast. First one to hit 3 full. I think besides, I don't know who got it first, but it's a good sign right now for Damon. You get your pick of the litter. Whoever you hit, you are going to set up for the rest of your team. It really is just watch out for that package, right? Every time that package is up, it's a full question. And Flokin is just like, yeah, I'm going to sit and wait as well.
Oh, might be a bit of a catch here. The all-out comes across. Argentum just gets burned. Fate's Call, though, once again says Death is not on the cards. The Whirling Death falls just short. Argentum survives the pick play.
Oh, but that's really bad right before Dragon as well. The fact that you don't have the face call to really kick off a fight or at least get someone out scot-free. I don't know the timer. It's a second level ult timer right now, so EU Red might have it after the Dragon spawns. Still though, that feels so bad. It's oh no, it still might be down when Dragon comes up. Yeah, that's a huge ult that you don't have, and CCG is just you lost that safety net. That's a great job by Clown.
Yeah, it does cost All Out and Whirling Death, so you did trade 2 ultimates back for this that also will not be back. All Out potentially could come around, but now that the fight kicks off here, Davis is looking to cut him off. Yao in the backline. How many can he stun? He grabs 3 into the sleep. Hostile takeover. It's too perfect. Cloud Gaming are just running down CCG. They claim the unkillable EU Red, and they might just go ahead and claim the goddamn game.
Hey Slayer, we said it earlier. This team composition is rude, and Yao, no need for TP, no need for flash, not a single HP bar under 50%. There was literally nothing that CCG could have done. Clown showed that behind the laughter, behind the makeup, they are brainiacs to the core.
Number 26 seeded by the committee, and they are about to, I mean, by all accords, in very much control of this game number 1 to take a lead in an elimination series. They're going to pick up a mid inhibitor. They're going to knock down the base. Flaukon, though, looks like he wants to fight finally with that package back up. Has EU Red, and they'll at least cut off Nostalgia, who the bailout will not save. Titan goes forward as well. Goes all out. He wants a 1v1 scrap with Argentum. Is going to find that trade, but now EU Red's mad. Now he's unleashed, waiting to just pull the E, pull the Rend. Can Titan get away in time to flash forward against? Says no. The shields are still here for Titan, though. How much real estate is Titan going to get the rest of his squad? Trevor has to flash after him to find the kill, but all the while on the bot side, Yao has gone crazy, and now he's going toe-to-toe with Crimson. Paragon has showed up. Crimson is just going to pop the Draven. Can he outlast Yao, though? No. He'll find a trade, but it's only a consolation prize.
If that were 2023 Olaf, that would have been a different story. Probably could have gotten the 1v2 off, right? But my God, was that aggressive. That was anger in a bottle from Crimson. But let's talk about EU Red losing out on a kill that you took 80% of the HP away from. Titan forcing a flash out of Trevor shows where the game state currently is. It doesn't matter that EU Red is currently only 1 death in, 5, 1, and 8. I talked it up big because I was really hoping this early game would be able to help out CCG, but these last 2 fights have really shown a difference, and this feels more like a Desperation Baron.
Yeah, they do have the Rend, which will give them smite control if executed correctly, but we already saw Damon's steal one of those away. Hostile takeover is down already, though. Nostalgia blows that one. Can they secure it? They will. The Rend grabs it for Red, and now it's CCG's turn to punch back, trying to fire the missiles through the terrain, and they won't find any kills, but that Baron might just save their game for at least the next couple minutes.
It's a stall Baron. I hate saying that so much. It's a stall Baron. You're trying to get a little bit of control under this game and try and get CS back, right? Flowcon is not as strong as we wish just yet. You are at the 3-item power spike, but at this point, the power spike only works if the enemy is not 3 tanks. It feels like, right? Yao's pseudo tank has HP in the buckets, has healing, you're fine. Titan is a tank. Damon is starting to get HP in the bucket as well, already sitting at about, is that over? I think that's over. That's like 2.9k HP or some. Like, you are not strong enough with just 3 items. You need a bit more in there. So this #1 style Corki, you know, in the mid lane supremacy, look at that. It's doing peanuts back there.
Yeah, I mean, Titan could just tank it. And that was the vision, like you talked about earlier. Crimson, I might get thrown into the wayside here.
Okay, that's not a tank. That's not a tank.
Yeah, if you hit Paragon with those missiles, they are going to hurt here. And that might just push Cloud Gaming a bit off the base for the time being. So the stall Baron is working wonders unless you're Trevor losing his jungle camps.
And Trevor's just like, all right, that's understandable. I've gotten to the point where I need to be. I'm a Maokai, 3.5 items. I'm here for the team. So, excuse me. I am really, I think CCG are just trying to bait for another package, although I think the timer is a little bit long. So, I mean, you don't really have a choice, right? You're just trying to use this Baron to keep the waves in a good state, gather as much gold as you can, and pray your champions get back to a regular state where you actually feel like you're doing damage like that. And the fact that Paragon is allowing themselves to be hit feels very, very bad, because I think Clown are like, we can push, we just don't accidentally lose our ADC.
Yeah, and for CCG, the stall game can continue because picking up the first 3 Drakes means that you don't have to worry about being pulled out of the days just yet to contest for this Hextech Soul. You can realistically give up the Sex Dragon in minute 30 if the wave states aren't good enough and you don't think you're in an itemized spot to fight just yet. CCG can really drag this thing out for another 5 minutes at least if they don't slip up and turtle correctly.
Yeah, this is I mean, this is, I was so thrilled by early game, right? CCG were like, these picks were working out. It was looking good. And then Cloud, of course, they're just like the meta caught up. I'm sorry. The meta caught up. And now we're looking at this dragon. CCG, Clowns still are forced into this. A Hextech Soul would be maybe one of the tipping points that CCG could use to kind of springboard back into the game. So for Clown, you can see the complete domination of vision, information, and gathering on this bot lane does not allow CCG to walk in unattended. They have to walk in as 4 or 5, and that's the scary part. Yao Yao getting slowed up.
Oh, here comes a flash forward. They're getting the lilting lullaby. The Fate's call, though. How much stalling will it do? Crimson's now unleashed on the front line. Big counter-strike once again from Yao Yao. Red is so low, but he's not dead. He's kiting back. The hostile takeover will wipe out the rest of his squad, though. But Crimson is still free-firing. EU Red is safe. It's all on Crimson to heal through all of this damage. He won't be able to. Damons finds that one and leaves Flaukon as the one saving grace. But Damons is hunting him. Lilia can speed up. Cassante unstoppable. Titan wants it. Damons gets it. Legendary. And Clown comes out in the close fight.
The fact that that was close shows the power of the Corki pick. I keep talking, and the game keeps making me look stupid. That's all I'm saying here. Every time I turn around, that should have been a wipe. By all accounts, that should have been a wipe in like 5 seconds, right? That should have been over. Well played by CCG. I thought it was over when they funneled into the jungle. No, you were able to get away, you were able to get safe, and Flocon coming from the side, denying a chance for that wave to keep pressing forward. Heads up play there. But the raw damage coming out now with 4 items, now with a little extra DPS in the back pocket, the Corki's doing work. CCG, they're happy that they're able to stay alive, but now you are fighting on scraps. That is probably the last time you're getting that much freedom to get away from the opponent. Clown Gaming putting what could be the final nails in the coffin, a minute and a half to this upcoming Baron. If this Baron goes the way of Clown, it is over. If CCG pick it, it might be over.
CCG can grab it, then somebody's getting Hextech Soul, right? And that might be the game ender. We do see Red and Argenta pushing up a lot here. Damon's is in the area. And yeah, Argenta's just a sacrificial lamb. So Damon's speed picks up 1. And Cloud Gaming might look for more. Yao Yao once again with a great flank. Let's lullaby. Red is caught. This could be for the game if he can't get out. But how much on the back end will his safety cost the team of CCG? Trevor is as good as dead. Burned down. Red still trying to run away from Damon's. But this Lilia is too fast and too pesky. Damon's has put his imprint on game number 1 with a near perfect performance. And it's going to lead Cloud to a big game 1 win. Crimson's Olaf will not be enough. He will fall. Flaukon is the only one left, but Titan will pick him up with the knockup. Cloud Gaming, statement game to kick off this series against CCG.
One mistake cost them everything that they had worked on. They were starting to come back. They had a little bit of a safety net. Yes, it was a tight wire, but it is going to be game. CCG early game looked good, but mid to late Clown took over the big top rules, and I loved every single moment of it. Clown, the composition was very interesting, but as you said, Damon, 11, I think at the end of the day, they're on game number 1, could not be stopped.
11, 0, and 12. So it's like even in the assists, 23 KP, deathless performance on the Lilia. Yeah, that was masterfully played. And we talked about how that pick was, in response to a lot of what CCG gave them. And you saw exactly why. You had a Callista that can run away pretty easily. Olaf can run at you very easily. But Lilia is such a great champion with spacing and chasing down those targets that you have to get. And that's exactly what we saw at the end of the game. And just honestly, all game long from Damon's.
I'm excited to see what else they can do, because obviously we're not going to see these champions again, at least on their side. So I'm interested to see how this breaks down. If that was almost a that was almost a game like testing the waters, right? And I
Mhm.
hate saying that, but you do have to realize that game you lost a lot of priority pieces. You now have to draw a whole new hand, and hopefully it works out. But for CCG, I also hope maybe we get the main roster in here. Maybe we get to see people back in because it looked great. Don't get me wrong, it looked great in game number 1, but we want to see that finisher on the end. So hopefully we get to see him come back.
We'll see once we flash over to the Game 2 draft what exactly the adjustments look like for CCG. And like Orbital mentioned, if we do get Vakin in and Trevor back to his normal spot. But until then, well, I guess you guys will see that in a quick cut, and we'll see you guys at Game 2 draft.